Daz, I think you're on mute. Hello, can anyone hear me? Yeah, well, hi. Well, I think we're starting on a great start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Space Oddities. I thank you so much for joining us on this Monday at 8 p.m. UK time. We're going to have a cracking show tonight. Tonight, we're going to do a special edition on the benefits of space exploration. So quite a few panelists here are going to present various topics. But before we do all that, first of all, I'd like to say hello to our panelists. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
How's everyone doing?
Fine.
Good,
fine.
Good, thank you.
That's great.
Sorry about that. I was on the sorting out the YouTube page and I was talking away. Realised I was on the wrong page, so I didn't unmute myself. I do apologise, viewers. newbie on the controls.
That's fine. Yeah, well, tonight, unfortunately, Andy's cannot join. Hence why Daz had to sort of take over the technical background aspect of all of it. So apologies in advance, viewers, if there's might be a little bit of hiccups here and there, but you know, we'll just go through this and we'll have some fun along the way. So tonight we're gonna do various things. So Roger is gonna talk about the night sky as usual. Then we'll have Rachel, who's going to be presenting the images that we have been receiving, and we have received quite a lot of images, and that is fantastic. But there's so many images that we're going to separate it in two. So Rachel's going to do the first part after Lou, so in the beginning of the show, and then we'll do the second part of the images later, closer to the end of the show, so that we can really have a look at all these amazing images that you have been sending to us. And thank you again for that. And afterwards, we're going to go with Lou. Lou is going to be talking about the history of space exploration as part of the benefits of space exploration. Then we'll go to Mary. Mary's going to talk about the climate-related benefits of space exploration. Then it'll be me. I'll be talking about, and I don't know why I'm looking at my paper here, because I actually know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the environmental aspects of space exploration as well. And if we have time, maybe Daz will join in, Michael and whatever. But the most important thing, viewers, is that we want you to be able to ask questions, and we want these benefits of space exploration topics to be something of a discussion. So we're going to be talking amongst themselves about this. And after these various topics, we're going to move on to Daz. Daz is going to be mentioning about the competition. We have a fantastic new competition this month, which I'm sure you're going to like it. Last month we did a competition with kids' drawings, and a child received a telescope. So that was fantastic. And then afterwards, if we still have time, and this session is going to be so loaded with stuff. If we have time, Michael might talk about a few last space news and such. So there we go, folks. This is going to be a fantastic night. Thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us on Facebook, and I think we can just get the show started. So, Roger, why don't we start with you? Tell us a bit about the night sky.
Okay, well, thank you, Bernard. Of course, we've got the usual weekly reports of what's in the night sky, but we've also got the lunar eclipse, which is coming up tomorrow. That should be quite interesting, but being in the UK, it will probably be likely a no-show with all the clouds, but fingers crossed. So, okay, I shall proceed with my presentation. Okay, so here we go for the 24th to the 30th of October 2022. Okay, so what we have left of the moon will gradually disappear to a new moon tomorrow, and gradually building itself up again. But obviously with the new moon, we have an eclipse coming up tomorrow. That will be only partially available to see in the UK, And the best that you could ever see if you were somewhere in Russia would be an 80% chance of complete of the eclipse. So unfortunately, we'll only be between about 17% down in the south up to about nearly 30% or so further up. But at least there is a possibility from just after 10 o'clock in the morning to around about quarter to 12 tomorrow morning. So fingers crossed on anything being visible with our climates that we are forecast to have for tomorrow. So with it being around after 10 a.m. in the morning, which the sun will be roughly around 16 degrees in altitude, and by the time it finishes round about midday, it'll only be 23 degrees above the ground. So it's not going to be the best, but we'll see what we will see, and we're hoping that someone will be able to get hold of some images for next week's show. Okay, so we've still got the Jupiter, Saturn and Mars up in the night sky, and obviously now later on, as it is all at 10 o'clock, we are now getting the wind constellations gradually getting higher and higher into the night sky, and looking forward to seeing all those lovely views of the Orion Nebula and associated objects in that area as well. And obviously, we've got Andromeda almost at its highest position in the next week or so. So a really good opportunity to have a good old look and spy at that for that. So obviously, if anyone is in the Southern Hemisphere, we've got the constellations still very high up in the sky for you as well. And Orion looking quite good at the moment. So that's gradually rising up as well, but all upside down as they do. Okay, but of course this time James Webb has decided to point its imaging camera at the pillars of creation, and obviously if you've not seen this already, we've got an absolutely outstanding image to show what is also behind what the Webb camera originally saw. So the next slide will show you a comparison of what the two images are, size for size, to show you what an amazing difference that the infrared cameras can actually capture through the dust.
Stunning, isn't it?
It's a very interesting image, and when I do presentations on Webb, I always mention this, that the images of Hubble are still going to be as stunning as they are now because they're looking at the visible light, and somehow I still prefer Hubble's image here. I just think it's more dramatic from a visual perspective, of course, not from a scientific point.
But there you've got 1 million times more stars than you would ever be able to get with the gas removed through the infrared light of the cameras. So,
yeah, absolutely. But still such an amazing shot.
Absolutely awesome. So my next slide will be from the full resolution image, panning from the bottom up to the top of the pillars of creation to give you some idea of the detail that this new James Webb has managed to show. It will gradually pan up to give you absolutely amazing details of some of the nebulosity that this has actually captured.
I mean, look at those bright stars that we couldn't see before with the diffraction spikes and that on there. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can also see at the top of the arms there, those red glows where the stars are still in their cocoon. Absolutely fantastic.
That's jaw-dropping. Absolutely,
yeah, it is. Another hit.
Yes. So there we go.
Well, thank you so
much.
Amazing image, I thought.
Can I just pop in and say, any sun viewing do it with the proper eye protection. Do not look at the sun directly to try and see the eclipse. If you've got them, use eclipse glasses, or project it through possibly a colander or something onto a surface, so you can see it reflected onto the surface of the screen or something like that. Never ever point binoculars, telescopes, or anything at the sun without the proper protection. I just thought I'd pop that in there. But yeah, hopefully we might see something tomorrow.
I'll be using Bader solar film over the front of my telescope, and that will eliminate about 99.995% of the light.
And that's how much you've got to cut out to save your eyesight. But also, one of the most amazing things is when you do look at it, you realize in perspective, looking at it, how small the sun actually is. If you've got to remember, it's the same size as a full moon in the night sky. That's how we get our eclipses happening and things like that. So, but it will put things, but again, of course, the sun is 12 times further away. That's why it looks so small. So just want to put that in there.
No, that's cool. Thanks, Daz, and thank you so much, Roger. I'm definitely gonna take my daughter out. I have special glasses, and she's 7 years old, and it's going to be the second partial eclipse she's going to see. But I really hope one day I'll be able to drag her to see a solar eclipse. But anyways, thank you so much, Roger. Amazing images. So let's move on to Rachel, who has amazing images for us.
I do. Right, okay. So I'm going to share it differently just so I can make sure you can see the proper screen, because it sometimes doesn't like it. Yeah, we've had so many images in, so thank you to everybody. I will, as we said, we'll split into two sections just because there's so many. And we'll start off with a picture by Lee, one of our regular watchers. This is a different one for Lee. In fact, I'm not sure if he's sent in many moons before, but he's decided to go for an inverted moon, and he always gives us a quirky little description. If you want to read that at the bottom, because I know we don't have a lot of time today. You can always go back and pause and read it again. So this is taken with his DSLR, and
that's nice.
Here we
gives
go.
us such a different view, doesn't it? The details really pops out.
Yeah, it's just
really nice.
I've always tried to do these, and they never ever turn out that good. But yeah, I really like this one. I think the detail is really, really nice. And I think he said this was a mosaic as well, I want to say. So thank you, Lee.
Yeah, stunning.
Then we've got, now I've never actually asked, are we going for Trifid? Is it Trifid? What are we calling it? But this, I believe, is in the constellation Sagittarius. And this is another DSLR deep sky image by, and I'm sorry if I get your name wrong, Yashodan. And here we go. So it shows just what you can pick up with the DSLR.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lots of colours with so many stars. It's like someone's dropped a box of like golden glitter all over. But very nice. Then we've got one by Chris, and it was really lovely actually, because Roger and I got to talk to Chris at the International Astronomy Show last week, and Chris spent a long time talking to us. So I'm really glad he's not only came today but sent in an image of his Elephant Trunk Nebula, which I think is in Cepheus. So he's got all of his techie details on there, and there we go.
He's got his own pillars of creation here. It's beautiful.
It's really lovely. I love the Hubble palette as well. I'm a fan of, I think I still prefer Hubble, don't tell anyone, but I just love the colours in a Hubble palette. I think it just brings out so much. So thank you for that one, Chris. Then we've got an Andromeda Galaxy by Mark. And again, I think you'll see this full of stars. It's just
beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
Which is really nice, because I think they've held all the details still in the dust lanes whereas normally you can't, you know, there's so many stars you almost lose it, but I think this has got the best of both.
That's lovely.
Stunning.
And then we've got Orion, taken by Fatima. And I know I follow her on Twitter, and she's always posting these amazing pictures with the Stellina telescope and processed in PixInsight.
Orion's always a winner, eh?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can ever look at an Orion and not enjoy what they see. It's just one of those targets you go back to, even though you've done it so many times, you can't help yourself.
That's really lovely.
And then we've got a North American nebula by Artlia Astro.
Mm.
Wow.
I think this features a few times in our gallery tonight, so it's really nice to see how different everybody has created what they've got. So really beautiful.
Stunning.
And then one by literally just the moon, nice and simple, by picastroapp.com.
Oh, I like the purplish color
Perspective.
here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the purple colour, because I know I can be quite forced to almost make it quite silvery blue, but I really liked the purple hues when I opened this one up. I did a little ooh.
Yeah.
You can
So
see the,
Roger's
Is that due to the filter or use, or?
I don't know, because we didn't get any other details with this one other than literally the moon and who it was by.
Right.
But maybe they'd like to write back in, or if they're in the chat, they could pop in the chat what they used.
you
looks
can
like
see
Roger's got
distinct.
competition.
Then we've got two images by Peter Lewis, and he's done some planet shots. So the first one is a lineup of 4 planets, which you'll obviously see, and he's labelled them. And the second one is of the super conjunction of Jupiter and Mars. And Peter was just recently on The Sky at Night, and I think these are the ones that didn't get shown, so at least they're getting shown tonight.
Yay.
So we've got the first one, so they're all nicely labelled there for us: Venus,
Yeah.
Jupiter, Mars and Saturn.
Is that a comet?
I was going to say, that looks like a comet
Jupiter?
out there.
Is that-
It does, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, well, it might be an artifact in the lens, but he did actually say in the write-up that was in the light polluted skies of London. So just goes to prove what you can see.
Mm.
Nice.
And there's the Great Conjunction, which is another one. So thank you, Peter.
Thank you. They're nice.
Then we've got everyone's favourite, our favourite constellation, Orion with Sirius through the cloud. And this is just a 10-second exposure and edited with the Snapseed app. So this is by Chris Jones, or Jonesy1007 on Twitter.
Sometimes thin cloud really helps to bring out the star color.
I know a lot of people, when they shoot in the DSLR, they use like a filter or a double fog filter almost as well, to sort of defocus the stars a little bit and bring out the color and make them glow. But this is just a nice and simple shot. You can just enjoy. You can see everything.
Yeah, there's a simplicity to this shot that I really like, actually.
Yeah, the
I know
stars.
it's not the subject, but look at the beautiful waves in the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it called herringbone or something like that?
It's a
I don't know
type
what
of
the clay-
altocumulus, I think.
Yeah, I've just heard of it referred to as sort of like herringbone sort of thing. but,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
mackerel sky is when you get
Oh,
those at
that's
sunset,
probably it,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
the same sort. I'm not an expert on clouds, but yeah.
I'll take your word for it, Mary. And then we've got another image by Chris, which is the 11% waning moon, which is a really, really lovely curvy little shot.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Roger, there's competition there.
I can,
Had to get
I
up
can
early in the
take
morning
it.
for that one.
Roger's probably not here. He's outside setting up now.
I heard that.
And that's where I've stopped for halfway through. I know we've got lots more to come. So if your image hasn't been shown yet, it will be coming in the next part of the show. If you sent in your image after 10 o'clock this morning, it'll feature on next week's show. So don't worry if it's not there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the images, Rachel. And thank you so much, everyone, for sending
you,
these.
yeah.
These just absolutely stunning images. And,
Yeah.
again, just simple DSLR and you can really take some really nice shots. So really, really cool.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have some more later on, later in the show. And I just want to remind everyone that we are currently being sponsored by Rother Valley Optics. So thank you for them as well for supporting us and allowing members of the public to be able to share their images. Fantastic. Daz, I think there's something you wanted to correct.
I think I'm going to go home. I think I'm going to go home. Oh, I am home. It appears that when I was talking about the moon and looking at it, and when you look at the sun, how small it is through the special glasses and all that, for some unknown reason, I said 12 times. But apparently what it is the actual sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it is 400 times further away. I don't know where I got 12 from. I think I need to lie down in a dark, cool room.
That's happened. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us.
So
No
I do
worries.
apologize. Where I got 12 from and where it came, I haven't got a clue. But there you go. I do apologize. Another apology. It's my apology week.
Okay,
right.
cool.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Anyway, thanks for letting
No
me.
worries. No worries. Great. Okay. So now, after Roger and Rachel, we're going to go through the topic of tonight, which is the benefits of space exploration. So again, if you have any questions, viewers, feel free to drop any questions within the question box on YouTube or any comments on it. We're going to start with Lou. Lou is going to present to us the history of exploration and why it's important for us. So Lou, do you want to take it from here?
Right, thank you, Bernard. Let me see if I can get a screen share going here. Okay, everybody see that? Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
So Glenda the Good Witch said it's always best to start at the beginning. So to kind of kick off our exploration of benefits of space exploration program, I thought it'd be good to just take a look at the history of exploration and what we've done and where we've come. So there it is. That's what we've been doing for most of humanity. As early as people have been able to wonder about their world and the universe, they've looked up and tried to make sense out of the day and night sky. So that's been our exploration of the universe for 99% of the time that people have been walking on this earth. And we have some evidence of that. Probably the oldest piece of evidence, I think it is, it's about 35,000 years old, discovered in the Ache Valley in Germany. It's an ivory tusk carving on one side with the Orion constellation, and on the other side with apparitions of the moon, possibly counting out a gestation period. So here we have some of the first evidence that people were looking up at the sky and here recording what they saw.
Wow, whoever managed to work out that on the left is Orion is I'm just amazed. But that yeah, definitely.
Well, it's either Orion or a big tree. I'm not sure. It's one of the two.
That'd be fantastic anyway. Yeah.
So exploration is in our DNA. We always explore. If you look at a young schoolboy or schoolgirl throwing a rock across a river to see how many times it will skip. We're trying to extend ourselves beyond what we can currently reach. And this was so in the 1400s, where they had or sometimes called the era of discovery, where ships from England and Spain and other countries kind of got out of the shipping lanes that they were used to and went off to try to find other lands, other trade routes, wealth for materials, plants, animals that they could discover and bring back, and of course, knowledge. And these trips resulted, for example, in the first nautical maps. So the history of humanity is that we are always looking forth, and we are always Jump forward to 1609 when Galileo first used the biscope to point at the sky, the first use of a telescope, to look at the moons of Jupiter, orbiting Jupiter, to look at the phases of Venus, the craters on the moon, and even sunspots on the sun. Don't recommend that. Don't look at the sun with a telescope. But Galileo used his very small 2-inch telescope to make a number of discoveries that put some of the final nails in the coffin of the Ptolemaic system that the Earth was at the center of the universe. And we're going to find this time and time and time again. With the development and use of new technology, we have great leaps in understanding about our world and our place in it. So we move from a rather diminutive telescope by today's standards to the behemoth telescope that we have today. The fast 500-meter radio telescope in China, the ALMA and ELT telescopes at Atacama Desert, and the 30-meter telescope being built now on Mauna Kea. So we've come quite a long way in technological advancement, and this is for just Earth-based observing. Leap forward again, October 4th, 1957, the launch of Sputnik 1. This heralded a new era in humanity. We were above the Earth and orbit. Sputnik made 1,440 orbits. It's about the size of a basketball. It's not very big, about 180 pounds, and had 2 radio transmitters on it that broadcast a steady beep, beep, beep. Launched by the Soviet Union, it was a wake-up call for other countries, initially the United States, that the space race had begun. And so Explorer 1 was launched not long after that. It was first to carry a scientific payload of a cosmic ray detector. And this cosmic ray detector detected a region of trapped radiation around the Earth that James Van Allen postulates were, the readings were low cosmic ray data readings. And so he postulated that these radiation belts existed, and they're named after him as the Van Allen belts. And here you see a rather historic picture of William Pickering on the left, the JPL director, James Van Allen in the middle, who was at the University of Iowa at the time, State University of Iowa, and then the great Werner von Braun, who led the team who developed the Redstone rocket. So the space race had begun. I can't possibly fit all of the launches on a single slide, so I'm just showing in just a little over 2 years after the very first successful launch of Sputnik, we see 33 launch attempts and 14 successes from the United States and the Soviet Union. And it wouldn't be long before other countries joined in the space race. So that was robotic.
I just wanted to mention there, Lou, one really interesting thing about these early space race missions is that there were so many failures that they were actually sending spacecraft as twins. So there would be, one lunar explorer being sent with another lunar explorer, one Mars 5 with Mars 6, and they were just sending all these spacecraft as twins just to make sure that at least one of them would be working. Such was the failure rates. So,
right, you are, Bernard. And I think here's something else that's a little bit interesting. The United States launched far more missions, but had a number of failures. The Soviet Union launched far fewer missions, but they were all, except for the partial success, January 2nd with Luna 1, they were all successes. So I think the United States was kind of flinging spacecraft up there, trying kind of desperately to advance the technology and advance our position in the space race. And both countries succeeded.
Yeah.
So that was robotic exploration. And then once again, humanity took a giant leap into the future when on April 12th, 1961, Yuri Gagarin rode Vostok 1 to become the first person in space. He made 17 orbits over 25 hours. And it was interesting, I didn't know this, that his capsule came down through the atmosphere with all the friction and heat. And once it was slow enough, he actually ejected from the capsule and parachuted just himself to the ground. This was followed by Alan Shepard, a US astronaut who went into space on May 5th, 1961. It was a suborbital flight. John Glenn orbited the Earth 3 times in 1962, spent 5 hours in space. And then Valentina Tereshkova, June 16th, 1963, was the first woman in space. She made 48 orbits over a period of 71 hours. And then, of course, this went on. We had a number of space stations that now US, the former Mir Soviet space station, and then the Chinese space station, which is almost finished. And of course, the landing of men on the moon, which was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins on July 20th, 1969. Since then, although we have only sent people to low Earth orbit or the moon, lunar orbit, and 5 successful landings, we have explored every planet in the solar system now with robots, including Pluto, if you will. The Voyager spacecraft, Voyager 1 and 2, explored the outer solar system back in 1970s, 1980s, and then have continued on, still communicating with the ground, sending back fields and particles data from true interstellar space. And of course, the Pluto mission New Horizons that sent back the first images of this pale, tiny dot in the sky. It showed us what an extraordinary place the Pluto, and I might say the Pluto system, is. Just dramatic. We've explored the universe in every wavelength possible. I showed you a radio telescope, really radio telescopes earlier, Hubble Space Telescope exploring in the visual and ultraviolet. We've explored in the gray, the X-ray, and in the infrared, certainly now with James Webb, another step in infrared exploration. And we noticed that the universe looks very different depending on the color of light that we use to observe it in. And so with each new technology, we push the boundaries a little further and explore deeper and with more detail and with more understanding. So this is what it looks like, at least up through 2019. Numbers of satellites launched, not only from the United States and Russia, but Europe, India, Japan, other countries. This is an indication of how important it is to these countries. These satellites are communication satellites, they're Earth-centered satellites, they're for exploring the cosmos, a whole variety of things that you can't do on the surface of the Earth. But what cost, my friends? I found this on statista.com for 2020 and 2021. The blue is 2020, the black is 2021. These are expenditures in billions of dollars on space exploration, on our space programs. Started with the United States, China, Europe, Russia, and so forth. So we're spending quite a lot of money to do this. And the question to the panel is it worth it? This is another way of looking at it, kind of a total expenditure in 1990 to 2021, and differentiating between defense and civil space missions. So you can see that we are spending quite a bit of money on this, and I'm going to turn it over to back to Bernard, and let's see what we're doing with it. Bernard?
Great. Thank you so much, Lou, for this this really interesting overview of space exploration. It's really good sometimes just to refresh our heads about how far away we've come from and where we are now. Before we carry on, I just wanted to apologize to the viewers that Lou had a little bit of connection issues at some point. There was a slight lag. This doesn't happen generally. I don't know why. Like, you know, just happens today. But yeah, but you know, we could still hear you pretty much fine, Lou. It's absolutely fine. It's okay. Das has a question.
Well, basically, it was just when Lou was doing the how much is spent on space. Of course, the United States, when you look at the, I mean, it sounds a lot. What was it, $54 billion you were saying?
2021 dollars.
But of their actual gross government spending, that's 0.0 whatever it is. And the heyday for the expenditure on space travel was in, I think it was 1966-67, when they were trying to get the Apollo missions up to running, and it was only just for 1 or 2 years either side that it was above 1%, and ever since before and after it's always been 0 point something or other. So the overall and this is well, I won't go into too much, but yeah, that was when America actually put their most funding into the space exploration, was back in the middle 60s. But as I said,
had many conversations with people that if we had the funding that that our defense department has, we'd have colonies on Europa right now.
Yeah.
So I often say that NASA performs miracles daily on a shoestring budget, and I think that's true.
Yeah, Rachel just popped a question into chat.
Yeah, so thanks for that comment. So we have a question. If the panel could choose, what should be the next exploration target? Lou, you've been presenting the exploration. Why don't you start with this question then?
Well, you might have to put some parameters on it. If you mean human exploration, of course, it's the moon. We need to go somewhere that's relatively close, that allows us to come back easily if we need to, and learn how to live off the Earth first. And that is always predicated, all of the NASA programs are Moon, Mars, and beyond. So first the moon, and then learn how to live off the Earth and go to Mars. Beyond that, I'm fascinated with the discoveries that the James Webb Telescope is already making about the formation and evolution of the universe. I think we know essentially nothing or very little about the true nature of the universe, and I'm excited to see what new discoveries are just over the horizon.
Cool, thank you, Lou. Anyone else wants to chip in this question?
I think in the solar system, I think we need to get out to the big gas giants and also their moons. The moons have shown so much promise with their under ice oceans, and all the plumes of water vapor and things like that. I think we need to get out there as soon as possible. I know we've got some, we've got Europa Clipper going out there. Plus a couple of others. We've already got Juno over there taking marvelous photographs of the moons now with its extended missions. But we really need to get some probes out there ASAP. So that's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see. Steve.
Thanks, Das. Steve.
I was going to say the same thing, actually, that all very similar, that my favourite targets would be either Enceladus or Europa, to do a detailed investigation of the plumes, the potential subsurface oceans and so forth under the ice surface, simply because I think one of the most important questions to answer one way or the other is there any life elsewhere, particularly in our solar system? We're having a good look on Mars, but I reckon those two are probably the other best candidates. So that's where I'd go, first of all.
Thanks, Steve. Mary, do you want to?
+1 for what Steve said. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Mary rubber stamps it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Roger or Michael, you want to?
Can I throw out a slightly philosophical question?
Oh,
That's what we're here for.
If we didn't have the moon, would we have a space race? Would we explore space?
Well,
With
my
humans?
answer to sorry.
Is that what you mean with people?
Either people or with robotics, yeah, either way.
Well, the first missions that were launched were orbital missions.
Mhm.
We might be learning how to live for longer periods in space at an accelerated rate than we have with our space stations. That's my thought.
Throwing it back at you, Michael, if we didn't have the moon, would we actually exist?
That's
Good
just what I was
question.
going to say.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we would still have tides and things like that from the gravitational pull of the sun,
Mhm.
but it would be minuscule to what we've got now. So, as I said, is the moon necessary for life on Earth? You know, it's one of those questions, but I don't know.
It's a good point, though. I think that Michael's making is if the moon weren't there, just to go out, just generally go out into space, just might be reaching too far. Certainly where we are at the moment. So the moon has been a really, really valuable stepping stone to advance our space technology, our space exploration, right from the very earliest day, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Without the moon, we probably wouldn't be. We almost certainly wouldn't be here at all.
And would we by now?
So the moon stabilizes the Earth's inclination, its tilt.
Yeah, true.
Mars doesn't have a massive moon; it has two tiny ones, and its tilt varies widely over time.
So in short, do we need the moon for life on Earth? Yes. Sorry, for humans to flourish on Earth, most likely yes. And do we need the moon for space agencies to flourish in space? Probably yes as well, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. Well, mind you, Lou, you had a different take on it, but yeah, it's always these thought questions are always very interesting.
Yeah,
we're always exploring.
Yeah, I'm amazed that no one mentioned putting boots on Mars. There was a brief mention, Steve, you'd say, but
let's do it closer to home first,
okay.
Just in case we have problems.
That was going to be a follow-up idea. Is it would be going straight to Mars rather than obviously if the moon wasn't there, would be going straight to Mars anyway.
It'd be a very big leap, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To if that's the situation, but we're lucky enough to have the moon where we can go and practice, and we're going to make mistakes. At least it's on the doorstep, and hopefully we can.
And only 3 days away.
Yeah. So yeah.
So thank you so much, Lou. So Lou has sent the panel a challenge. He's brushed a nice view of space exploration and then gave us these big figures of how much it costs and why is it important for us. Now, viewers, as I said to you, this topic is really big, and it seems like we're going to have to break this down in various sessions because I can already see it's a quarter to the hour, and we've only talked about one topic, and we have 6 or 7 other panelists who want to have a go. So what I propose is that we're most likely going to be having these topic ongoing throughout the coming months and the coming weeks. So but I just wanted to throw this out there here to the panel. Should we just have Mary's point and then all the others point in the following sessions, because we still have lots of pictures and competitions and all that. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, I think that sounds something.
Yeah.
We
So
thought this had happened.
Yeah. So Lou sent us the challenge, and we will respond in the coming weeks. And I'm sure it's going to be spurring out engaging conversations amongst us and amongst you viewers. Please don't hesitate to carry on and sending us comments and questions. So this is it. Now we're going to be talking about another really exciting thing, which is the competition. Daz, do you want to?
Oh, okay then. Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to do something else, but there you go.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, we can.
No. It's I just want to share my screen. Yes, Rother Valley have provided us with a Another fantastic prize. It is, and it's quite appropriate for with what's happening tomorrow. I hope that's come up. Can you see that? Can everybody see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Right. This is a Rother Valley finder, a solar finder scope. Now, basically, it fixes onto your telescope, and it works like your normal finder scope that's already on there, which is just an optical one. But this one has a quite different method of what you've got. It's at the front. There is a very small pinhole, and the picture of the sun is actually projected onto what you can see there, the back screen. And what you do is you just fix it to your camera again, to your camera or to your telescope, and again you use it to align onto the object. But again, I must stress, never point anything at the sun without the appropriate protection on there. It is so easy to damage your eyes so quickly if you go ahead and just point something at the sun without any protection. So what we've got here is we've got the Rother Valley Sun Finder is a lightweight, small accessory to help aid with locating the sun, ideal for solar observers and imagers alike. Simply attach the solar finder to any Cinta style base, and that's this little wedge thing on the bottom of it, which most scopes have got on them now. And look at the target on the back of the finder in the little crosshairs, get it in the center, and you know it's pointing towards the sun. And then what you do is you fine tune again through the eyepiece like you normally would with your minder scope, but again, make sure you've got the appropriate safety equipment on there. It basically makes things so much easier, and you're not looking directly at the sun or trying to balance your telescope and align it using the shadow. Now, what we would like you to do is, there we go, is to win this finder scope, we would like you to take a photograph of a sunrise or a sunset, but with a mobile phone. And the reason we've chosen this is basically everyone's got a mobile phone. It doesn't have to be taken in the next couple of weeks, because I think the closing date is the 5th of November. It could be one that you've taken in the past, but if you can just send us a photograph of a lovely sunset or sunrise, and with a little bit of an explanation of where it was taken, and that will be fantastic. You email your entry to spaceodditieslive@gmail.com, entitling the email competition entry. The entry is limited to 1 image per person. The closing date is the end of Saturday, the 5th of November. The photo which the panel like the most will win. The competition is open to UK residents only, or if you have a UK address that it can be sent to. And the panel's decision is final. Again, we'd like to thank Rother Valley Optics for supplying this fantastic prize. It's just a shame that people won't be able to have it for tomorrow, ready for the eclipse if you get clear skies. But that's what we would like you to do. So it's just take a photograph of a sunrise or sunset. It can be an old photograph. If you think it stands a chance of winning, then pop it into the Space Oddities Live at gmail.com and enter the competition with the chance of winning this fantastic prize. So that's it, really. I don't think there's anything else. Is there anything else we need to add to that? Anybody?
No.
What's the deadline for the competition?
The 5th of November, at the end of Saturday, 5th of November, and it gives us a chance to, on the Sunday, view the images, and then we can put our vote in, and we should be able to announce the winner on the must be the 7th of November. I was going to say September then. Never apology. 7th of November. So get your images in. As I said, They could be old ones, but if you can just ensure that they were taken with a mobile phone, we want to include everybody. Not everybody's got all the smart equipment and the filters and things like that. But yes, have a go. There's always a chance you're going to win it. So yes, go for it.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Daz. And yeah, we're looking forward to your images. Fantastic. We're going to go to Rachel for the part 2, actually, of the weekly image submissions. Just wanted to let you know that there's a question in the comments that we will answer after Rachel's session. So, Rachel, take us through the new images.
Okay, so part 2. And this one, actually, I'm really, really excited for. Because my friend Andy has sent this one in, and it's the Milky Way over Grasholm Observatory, and I go here a lot. It's just near Barnard Castle, and it's such a gorgeous place. It's right next to the reservoir, and it's absolutely stunning. So this is the Milky Way over Grasholm Observatory by Andy. And it really is, it's such a stunning place. It's sort of in like a bowl, so it dips and just cuts out all of that light pollution just around the horizon, and you're just left with, it's in its own microclimate. We can go up there and it's hoofing it down with rain, and then you get there and the sky opens up and does this every single time, and I've been about 20 odd times, and I think I've had about 19 clear skies, so it's a really beautiful place. So thank you, Andy.
I love the way the stars in the Milky Way emerges out of the clouds. I think that's really
cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely fantastic.
So beautiful. Then we're back to some deep sky. We've got another North American nebula by Colin. And this is using some narrowband filters. So the colours are really going to pop on this one.
Wow.
Which is just like a rainbow surprise of the Cygnus wall, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
Stunning, yes.
And like I said, it's so different to all the others. That's what I like about this. It's just everybody's is always so different, even though it's the same target. So really lovely. And the different hues of orange and yellow. I just keep looking at that Cygnus wall and seeing different parts. And then Mary. Sorry, what were you saying, Lou?
Said I'm really surprised at how many people are sending in Hubble images. I mean, that's just gorgeous.
So Mary, do you want to do the same? You might as well talk your way through your things, because you know it better than anybody else.
Well, this is actually a sketch. It's a colour pastel sketch on black paper of an almost full moon. So it was a gift. It was the moon as it looked on the 8th of October. And it was a wedding present for my friend who got married that date. So yeah, that's... So yeah, I really, it's the first time I've done the moon with coloured pastels. So I wanted to show some of the basalt composition differences.
So nice.
Oh my goodness.
We can really recognize it. It's very well done.
Thank you.
And I put your information again, because I know it's the middle one. So this is the last quarter moon that's coming up now.
Okay, so sometimes a daytime moon with a bit of cloud can look very atmospheric. So I took a photograph just with a zoom lens and my digital SLR of the last quarter moon in daylight with lots of clouds around it. So this is the sort of image you can do without a fancy camera. None of my cameras are fancy, but sometimes cloud adds to an image. So it's gorgeous.
Really lovely. I love that one. It makes the moon almost look sort of, was it translucent, isn't it? So you feel like you can always see through it a little bit, but it's lovely. And your last one is the fog bow, I believe.
Yes, this is the brightest and longest lasting fog bow I've ever seen. And this was the morning of the 18th of October. It was visible for 35 minutes. So yeah, I got a few pictures with my Canon 1100D and a wide angle lens. So they're always very muted, so they can be hard to see on a screen share, but you can also see the darker band on the underside of it. So it was great. This even showed up on our all sky camera. It was so bright. So it was amazing.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a fog bow.
No.
Yeah, they're harder to see because they're colourless to the naked eye.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Now we're back to some deep sky, crashing back into some, and I think we've got, I feel like there's 3 images by, oh no, and all three are HARGB images, and using a Canon 450D. So the first is the Bubble Nebula, which they said is around a 6-hour exposure, which is
beautiful.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
Mine's
absolutely.
my field of view is wider, so I can never get a really close version. I always get the claw and the bubble, so I never actually get just a really nice close-up detailed of this one.
That's lovely.
And then we all know this one needs no introduction. So the Horsehead Nebula again in Orion.
Oh,
Amazing.
And every time I see them, it just makes me miss diffraction spikes. That's the one thing I regret from the refractor is we missed the diffraction spikes.
you can put them on digitally.
I could, but I think the detail in the flame, sorry, nebula is also, it seems like there's a lot going on. I think it's really nice down the bottom half.
Beautiful.
And another one that needs no introduction.
Ooh.
There's obviously M42, the Great
Yeah.
Orion Nebula.
Stunning as usual.
Right, can anybody see the Running Man?
I just see the gingerbread man. I can't see if that is the
You
running
see
man.
you see
Yeah,
the
that's the
gingerbread
Running
man, do you? Yeah.
If that is him, but I
Yeah.
don't actually know if that is. Are we looking at the negative space in the area? Or?
It's
No,
the
you-
dark
you-
area,
one-
right, top left.
Yeah, top left. It's actually in that nebula at the top. You can see his head is at the top, and he's got cross of his arms, and then you can't see it so much in this one, but you can see his legs are splayed, and that's why they call him the Running Man. I think we had the conversation was had the other week that people couldn't see it, but also it didn't help that that one was upside down. So yeah,
I think I
the
can see
theory.
it. But
Yeah,
I see a
that's the
gingerbread
theory.
man. But the gingerbread man runs. He runs away
Yeah,
from
of course he
everything.
does,
So
yeah.
it could work.
Yeah, my jelly top buttons.
And then we've got one by Alex, which is the Whirlpool Galaxy.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And Alex has only just started in September, so he says his setup is still fairly basic, but he's really happy with how this turned out.
Yes, that's fantastic.
And bless him, he said it's not the best standards, and I've seen way better on Twitter, but I was incredibly happy, and you should be. You should never compare yourself to other people because everybody's journey is so different.
I mean, for a beginner, that is fantastic. I mean, it's not an easy target to catch. It's quite dim.
And the colour as well. I think it's really hard to get the colours to come out, especially in those two cores. So the fact
that's
that's
a great
got that,
start. Yeah, that's
it's
a great
really,
start.
really lovely.
Well done.
It's really good. There's a lot of
Very good effort.
Lots of detail. Then we've got The Moon by Matt, and again, it's the moon. There's not much more I can say about it. It's the moon.
Is this the one? I think there was something about that he took it with his phone.
I didn't see that on mine, but it might have got lost in the conversation.
Because I did ask him to put, and I'm sure it's. I think it was this one where he said he's actually taken this with his phone. So
there's a lot of detail he has.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, I know these new because I did ask him where it was taken because.
Yeah, I got that. I know it was taken in Vermont. But lovely.
And then from a cell phone.
And to finish, I think we've got two of the same target. So this one was titled Inside the Solar Nebula, and this one was taken by Jerry. And on this one, he's using the Extreme filter, which again, if you sort of split the channels right, it allows you to get sort of a different palette, which he might have done here. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Really gorgeous. And then I believe this is the last one. And again, it's by one of our regular viewers, Andy. And his again is the Soul Nebula.
Wow.
And I really like just that little pool of blue in the top right. I keep looking over there. It's such a lovely colour. So
there's some real depthness in this picture, actually. Stunning.
Really gorgeous. And that concludes the end of our mega gallery today.
If your image wasn't shown this week, we'll endeavour to get it shown next week. And And can we just ask that when you send your images in, yes, a round of applause for everyone. When you send your images in, can you send one image per email? It makes it easier for Rachel to be able to go through them, put them in the PowerPoint without having to keep going back through the emails looking for missed previous images, or if you've got multiple images in there. It's just to help us out a little bit. So if you can just post, you can put in, you know, 2, maybe 3, but put each one in an individual email, and then will be easier for Rachel to find them at a later date if we can't show them on the week that you actually put them in. Just while we're talking, I've just noticed, I've just run out of the thing. Dean was asking, in the competition, does the sun have to be present in the photograph? Well, it probably would be nice if the sun was in the photograph, but of course, if you're using a mobile phone, it'll probably burn out the image. So we've got to know that the sun is there, if you know what I mean. It's like I said, it's a sunrise, sunset, and usually the sun is probably just set just below the horizon, and when you get the best images, the colorful images. So if you can get the sun in, go for it, but don't worry if as long as it's a sunset, sunrise, not on Mars or anywhere like that, but on the and like I said, just put where you were when you took it and roughly what time of day it was. That'll be fantastic. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Daz, and thank you so much, Rachel, for really that was, we've never had such a crop of images before, and it's just been fantastic to see them also. Thank you again, everyone, for sending these.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Rachel's put the email address in the comment section of YouTube, so that if you want to know how to send these images for next time, just follow that email. Great. I said there was a question. Derek Abbott asked, Jupiter kicks out tremendous amounts of radiation. How far out does it extend? And what would it mean, I presume, for moons further out? Actually, I can answer that question. Basically, yes, there is a tremendous amount of radiation from Jupiter, and it pretty much fries Io, Europa, and Ganymede. But if you're on Callisto, the radiation level is really low, which is why Callisto has always been proposed as a potential place for habitat for space exploration in the outer solar system further on. So I'd say, you know, all the way up to Ganymede, yeah, you don't want to be there, but afterwards the radiation gets lower. That's my take on it. I don't know if anyone else has any additional comment on this. No? Oh, yeah, Lou, go ahead.
So Jupiter is a very interesting planet. It has 2 kinds of positive radiation. It has a positive energy balance, a positive heat balance that we measured with Voyager. So it actually gives off more energy than it receives from the sun. And what Bernard is talking about, I think, is Jupiter's massive magnetic field with so much in the way of particle radiation in it. Mm. That field, shaped by the solar wind, just like Earth's field, is huge. It's the largest thing in the solar system. It stretches out past the orbit of Saturn, so 5 AU. So it's really big.
Thank you for that, Lou. Right, we're almost at the end, folks. I wanted us to have a quick talk with Michael, because I think Michael might have some quick space news for us.
I've got a couple of things. First one is the European Space Agency mission Euclid and also Hera. They were chosen last week. They were going to be launched on the Russian Soyuz rockets, but they chose last week because of the problems with supplying Russian rockets. They were going to be flown on the Falcon 9, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets, Euclid in 2023 and Hera in 2024. So that's the main thing I've got news from last week, really.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Michael. And I think we're going to wrap the show tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And as you can see, this topic of the benefits of space exploration is definitely something we're going to carry on doing in the coming weeks and months. There's a lot to talk about and a lot for the panel to share. So once again, thank you so much for Rother Valley Optics for supporting us. Thank you so much for following us tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's how this channel sort of survives and lives. Again, you know, there's a competition details will be available within the description. I think that's true, Das, right?
Yeah, it will be in the description.
It will be in the description.
Get those images in.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, so I'd like to say thank you so much for our panelists tonight. Thank you so much.
And thank you, everybody. Well done.
Goodbye, everyone. Well done.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hit the like, subscribe. If you have any other questions, feel free to put it maybe on the comment section before we switch it off. But yeah, I hope you all have a great end of the day, and we'll all see you next week. So goodbye from us all.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Get your competition images in. Go on. Thank you. And that's a wrap.
Woo.
Well done, everyone.
Oh, what happened there on the end there with the